If you look at white Americans in poverty, they commit far less crimes than black Americans in poverty. Why is that?
Maybe it's because when you're in a store, like, they follow black people and they don't follow white people.
What about murder?
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
It's because, like, black men are more likely to be in prison.
Oh, yeah, so why do people go to prison?
For, like, a lot of the time, it's because they're in poverty and they have no other way to get...
Okay, so they commit crimes.
Because
Yeah, but so, wait.
Why do they
So wait, if you're
commit crimes?
So in poverty, we should give excuses for committing crimes?
Yes, because if they have
Like murder?
I did not say murder. I'm saying, like, if someone is stealing something because they have no money and there's no jobs.
That's so interesting. So you think most crimes are crimes of necessity in the black community?
I'm not saying most.
So, like, gangbanging is like a crime of necessity?
That I literally never said that. I'm saying,
but you're making an argument of crimes of necessity. Like, they're so hungry, they can't handle it.
I'm talking about, like, crime that has to do with, like, getting food, getting stuff that you need to live.
Right, but we have food stamps for anyone that needs it, so that doesn't exist. We have subsidized housing for anyone that needs it, so that doesn't exist. We have free health care for any poor person that wants it, called Medicaid. That doesn't exist. We also have welfare, cash, for anyone that wants it, so that doesn't exist. So what is it they're missing that they need to go, sorry about that.
Well, the food, like, a lot of food stamps might not cover all of what they need, and also housing is, like, there's not unlimited housing. A lot of people who are unhoused have...
Bro, the reason I don't like this talking point is because it kind of dehumanizes a community as if they aren't allowed to make their own choices. When you say, oh, the reason black fathers aren't in the household is because of systemic racism, what if it's because black fathers are making bad decisions? Do you just think you think black people are just incapable of deciding their own trajectory of their community and their life? You honestly think that every negative thing in the black community is due to systemic racism? Does that mean every positive thing in the black community is due to equity or diversity action? Do you see the problem here? When people believe, and this is happening in society, when people believe that every single negative thing in the black community is due to systemic racism, and y'all can affirm this in real life, people are going to start believing every positive thing in the black community is due to some type of affirmative action or some type of DEI program. And this is what's happening. Some people sued Harvard. They sued colleges because black students were getting into Ivy Leagues at a higher rate than they thought was necessary. And whether or not you believe that or whether or not you support that lawsuit is completely subjective. But what's the problem is you have black people who are being called diversity hires. You have black people who are getting their accomplishments tarnished. And her line of reasoning is a kind of backbone to that. People are believing that everything good and bad in the black community is due to another community. Yeah, my problem is we can make our own decisions. We can make our own good decisions. We can make our own bad decisions. If we are successful, it can be us. If we are not successful, it can also be us. But not everything is systemic racism. Majority of white people, majority of systems do not care about they don't care about black families. I promise they don't. Go up to the average white person, they don't care. They don't care that we're not in the households. Most people just care about their own household. So stop trying to blame everything on some level of racism, bruh. It's not true.
To, like, go to shelters, and then they get kicked out of shelters because there's a mandatory stay limit. So it's not like you just get a house.
It's not a stuff thing, though, right? It's like, if you need stuff, there's also tons of charities out there that can provide assistance. Churches, you will not go hungry in this country. You will not starve in this country.
Yes, you will. There's, like,
no, we have an obesity problem.
Street?
We have an obesity problem, not a starvation problem in this country.
What are you talking about?
In State Street, if any one of those people went to the local Episcopalian church or Methodist church, they will get fed. I guarantee it. If they go to a local food shelter, they will get fed.
Okay, but I'm talking, housing.
For housing. If we have Section 8 subsidized housing in this country, right? If you want to have a roof over your head, you can have a roof over your head.
With, like, thousands of rules, and you can't do
anything. Yes, of course, yes. I mean, it's not ideal, but the point is this. So let's just go back to the crime and necessity, right? Mm-hmm. So why do people commit crimes?
I'm not saying why all people commit crimes. I'm saying there are people who commit crimes because they have no other choice.
Got it. So why is it that other people that are...
There's always a choice. There's always a choice. There's always a choice. There's always a choice. There is always a choice. People commit crimes because they want to commit crimes. It's that simple. And her demeanor on this, and I think she's coming from a good place. It's wrong. It's wrong. People don't need to commit crimes. People commit crimes because they decide to commit crimes. It's that simple. And I'm talking about adults here. I'm not talking about the 12-year-old who got coerced into doing some type of crime. I'm talking about adults. Let's be let's be reasonable here.
As poor as they are in separate racial groups, don't commit crimes at the same rates. For example, blacks are 13% of the population, and they commit over 50% of the crimes. Why is that?
Black people, I would say, not blacks.
Okay,
but
it's not. I could say whites, and you wouldn't care. So
anyway,
hold on. Right? I can say Hispanics, you wouldn't care. So don't police my language.
But whatever. I'm not policing your language. I'm just saying I would say black
Fair
people.
enough. But the insinuation is that I'm being racist. But that's fine.
Okay, that's your opinion.
Yeah, but so black Americans are 13% of the population and commit anywhere between 50 to 56% of murders, crimes, carjackings. Why is that?
Well, what percentage of the white population is living in the same level of poverty?
Got it. So there's twice as many white Americans in poverty as black Americans. Not the same percentage, but still, if you look at white Americans in poverty, they commit far less crimes than black Americans in poverty. Why is that?
Maybe it's because when you're in a store, like, they follow black people and they don't follow white people.
What about murder?
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What are you talking about, bro? This is... There are people who actually believe this. I've never been followed in a store. Believe it or not. Believe it or not. Believe it or not. I've never been followed in a store. Yeah, it's crazy, right? It's crazy. And I'm black. I'm like dark black. So I can't even give you the benefit of the doubt with this one. You're just a little racist. You're just a little racist. You honestly believe we're just committing crimes because the world is just out to get us, right? Have you ever heard of drill rap music? There's an entire culture. There's an entire genre of music in the black culture about committing crimes. Believe it or not, that really exists. Like, genuinely exists. But you're right. You're right. Every time we go into stores, we get followed, and because we're getting followed, we just decide to rob the store. That's exactly what happens, and it makes perfect sense. They follow us, we rob the store, right?
Rural?
No, but why is it that, like, just saying murder, why is it that black people commit so many more murders? Like, that's not, you're being followed in a store and you commit more murders?
Yeah.
You're making the role, or I'll get to you in a sec, but
okay.
it's not
Anyway.
it's not a good argument. But let me just go back to one thing you said. Systemic
Whatever, you're
racism,
good.
right? So the idea of systemic is that it's within our laws. Mm-hmm. There are some black Americans here listening. What can you as a white American do that the black American cannot do?
Let's see. I could go into a store and not get followed. The police could not track me down on, like, when I'm driving. I'm less likely to get shot and killed.
What? Oh my gosh. You know, I just did a video with Dr. Sam Richards. He's a PhD professor at Penn State. Do you know how many people in general, total people, were killed last year due to police officers? And I'm saying in the entire country, the total amount of people, 1,000. 1,000 people were killed last year with police officers. There's hundreds of millions of people. There are hundreds of millions. There's millions of black people. In the entire country, 1,000 people in total were killed by police officers. And 90% of those people were armed. So the fact that you just sat here and said that you can go in the store without being followed. I've never been followed in the store. Believe it or not. The fact that you just sat here and said you can drive without being shot and killed by a police officer, even though 90% of the only 1,000 people who got shot and killed by police officers last year were armed, that I can't do that. Completely wrong, completely racist, completely ignorant, extremely ignorant, extremely ignorant. This is disgusting, bro. This is disgusting. And it's really offensive, if I'm being honest.
While I'm driving, there's a lot of things that I can do.
Okay, so just be clear. So if you walk into a local CVS here, how would you guys be treated differently?
Well, they would probably say hello, and they would probably like just walk, like let me in, and like not follow me, and then.
So these are a lot of probablys. I don't believe you, but I'm talking about laws, right? So what in the legal code of America can you as a white individual do that the black individual can't? Because systemic means it's in our code, right? It's like, for example, like Jim Crow, totally get it. That's systemic racism. What is systemically your advantage?
Maybe like housing codes, because I know redlining isn't a thing anymore, but there is, isn't there people who are white are more likely to be given loans because of, like, they have less, like, I don't know, that's just the, like, it's back from redlining. Like, it's a lot of the same stuff.
So, I don't buy into any of that. So I just kind of go.
You don't buy into redlining, or you don't buy
into redlining. I don't buy any of that stuff that happens. In fact, it's the opposite. Loans are now given favorably to black Americans in certain cities over white Americans.
Okay, but let's.
So we
you
could,
think
because
redlining?
of I believe in. I know redlining existed.
Okay,
I don't debate that. Of course it has. But because of DEI and because of affirmative action, there's actually a preference given. But so let's go back to fathers, right?
Okay, let's go back to fathers.
So
I cannot believe this, bro. I genuinely cannot believe the pure ignorance I just heard. Pure ignorance. I don't even know what to say, if I'm being honest. I don't even know how to respond to the. I don't know. Because the fact that she got up here and then, as confident as this young woman was, this just happened, and said that she can go in a store without being followed and I can't. She will have a better time getting a house than me. And she genuinely believes this. She genuinely believes this. And like I was saying earlier, y'all, people with these mindsets who believe that everything bad to the black community, they also believe everything good is not due to the black community. They think that since stuff happens to us, it always happens to us. It is impossible to look at black people as equals when you have this mindset. It is impossible. Because if you believe that we don't have fathers in our household because of some random white systemic racism guy holding a magic wand over us, how could you possibly believe that a black person will get a job over you? How could you possibly believe a black person can make more money than you legally? How could you possibly believe that a black person is smarter than you? You can't, bro. You can't do it. Because you automatically believe that black people are inferior to you. And you literally believe that. I don't even say you literally believe that. You are racist. But whatever. I'm going to end the video right here. It's LFR Jojo. I'll see you guys later.